the show. Are you guys ready for a book review? How about a little bit more noise? The last half of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, your book reviewer for the evening, Alex DiGiacinto, ladies and gentlemen.
For the record ever, I want to point out that I asked for a podium. And is that anybody's water?
No.
It's just there?
Yeah.
I'm taking it. Everyone's like, it's crazy, it's psychotic, it's water. Sorry, whoever's that is. So before I start, a little bit about me. I'm the lead editor at thehungergamesarereal.net and divergentvampires.org. And I'm also the critic at large for iloveyoungadults-fiction.com. I'm what you might call a young adult expert, and I'm probably the most respected critic in the field of young adult fiction. So that's a little bit about me. I have a specialty in Harry Potter and vampire-related materials. This is sort of my main focus. So I'm also halfway through my first young adult novel called Nexus, where a group of teenage human-bird hybrids battle in a post-apocalyptic society controlled by an oppressive megacorporation of adults. And let me just say that my publisher is confident. So tonight I'll be reviewing The Catcher in the Rye, a young adult fiction published in the 1950s, I guess. I actually had not heard of it, which is odd because I read a lot of young adult fiction. My mom would say too much, and she does. Anyway, first of all, let me say that every book that I review starts out as a 5-star review until proven otherwise, okay? I don't come into this with any sort of vendetta against the book or DJ Salad Spinner or whoever wrote it. J.D. Salinger, sorry. Essentially, The Catcher in the Rye is a book about a 16-year-old boy who is expelled from his boarding school and spends 4 unsupervised days in New York City, which is basically Home Alone 2, but I think this came out first, so I guess it's fine. Whatever. So anyway, we already are seeing problems here just with the synopsis, right? I mean, if we're talking young adult fiction, and I think that we are, we're missing some key elements, right? There's no post-apocalyptic fantasy setting. There's no mega corporation or evil government. What is the heroic teen going to rebel against? What's the noble cause here? I mean, that's not just fiction. It's pretty common knowledge that teens ages 14 to 18 are pretty much the most noble age group compared to all age groups. And I think that stands, even in the 1950s, that was true. Anyway, I still think that The Catcher in the Rye could be a good book if it focused on other aspects, but this is not the only problem. The Catcher in the Rye is completely and totally devoid of any teenage sexiness. So don't get me wrong, there is sexual content where a teenager is involved, but it's not sexy. Does anyone here know the difference between sexy and sexual? Okay, right? Does anyone know? Because one is always awesome, and one is sometimes gross and sometimes illegal, okay? At one point, our protagonist, Holden Caulfield, solicits a prostitute to his hotel room, which is already gross, but then when pressed to have sex, he makes up a lame excuse about having just had spinal surgery, which for the record would not work to get out of sex, okay? Tension between Hermione and Ron, it was not, okay? Let me say that, if I may. Okay, just for an example of sexiness versus sexual, right? We could look at a passage from my upcoming book, Nexus, where a group of teenage human-bird hybrids battle in a post-apocalyptic society controlled by an oppressive megacorporation of adults, okay? In this passage, our protagonist, a human swallow hybrid named Oliver, confesses his love for expert hacker Maggie, who is a human crossed with a parrot. So I'll do my best to get into character, and this is from my book, Nexus, which comes out in July. Oliver slammed his fist in rage against the desk as he saw the downloads disappear. "Now the adults know exactly who we like and how much we like them," he screamed. "Don't worry," chirped Maggie. "I switched the files." "You mean the adults don't know who we like?" Oliver gasped, clutching the center of his pants with both hands. "No, but I do." Just then, Maggie's tank top strap fell off her shoulder. So, you get the point there. I mean, it's pretty obvious where that's going, and trust me, it gets sexy, and it never is sexual, okay? There also seems to be a complete lack of any clear point or objective for the protagonist to accomplish. Holden Caulfield, as he's called, starts at his prep school where he is kicked out for poor grades. He then goes to New York City, and from there it's basically just random encounters with family and strangers. There's no real direction. It makes it seem as though there isn't any real point. Okay, so you're telling me that while Holden Caulfield is wandering around to his hotel and to the museum and to visit his sister, there is no way at all, it was completely impossible to insert a vampire kissing a werewolf anywhere. Okay? Or hell, even a werewolf kissing a werewolf. I'll take anything at this point, okay? How is anyone supposed to get through this book, all right? There was a distinct lack of kissing overall, all right? Something my book, Nexus, does not have. Why? Why is a question you'll ask a lot reading The Catcher in the Rye. Throughout the piece, J.C. Slatergator refuses to give Holden Caulfield, J.D. Salinger, sorry. J.C. Slatergator, refuses to give Holden Caulfield a reason to do anything. He doesn't seem to care about anything at all, which, as we know, is the opposite of teens, okay? Harry Potter had someone who wanted to kill him at the age of 12, all right? Katniss had to save her sister's life, okay? And that is not a joke. And Bella had to kiss a vampire because, duh, all right? Listen, okay? All he does is complain through the entire book about everything. Phonies, adults, sex, school. But does he have an evil megacorporation trying to destroy his relationship? No. Does he have the most powerful wizard in the universe trying to disintegrate him? No, he does not, okay? Phonies, what even is a phony? I ask again, what even is a phony? At the end of the book, we learn the namesake. Holden describes his fantasy to his sister to be a catcher in the rye or something, which is from a poem that he liked. But then his sister, who is younger than him and not even a teen yet, okay, which is ironic because this situation would never happen, corrects him and explains that the poem never says anything about catching at all. So the entire title of the book is based on a misquote, okay? This is like if Katniss called it the Tunger Games the entire time, and then somebody at the end was like, no, miss, it's the Hunger Games. Okay. Look, I think you guys see where this is going. The book was terrible, all right? There was zero sexiness, there was zero supernatural, there were zero teens leading noble rebellions against adults. I'll tell you who the phony is, okay? It's Holden Caulfield. Zero vampires, zero werewolves, how about 0 stars? The Catcher in the Rye gets 0 stars. Thank you very much.
Think it's a game.
Walked in, 30,000 in my pocket, had them niggas just like, ooh. $50,000 on your bill, wanna fuck me, gotta screaming like, ooh. Cause I got a check, nigga wanna flip, I ain't got a flip, but I got it, ooh. Get that hoe some mix, she gon' wanna sit, every nigga in the section, now she screaming like, ooh. How much you made? Made $2 million off of me, tell you had no phone like, ooh. They tried to drop me with a case, but you know I hadn't skated. I was singing like, ooh. I swear, nigga.